Have you ever been in a room where someone was smoking or vaping or chewing tobacco, or you done so yourself, and wondered where it was born and how it became so common? In today's society, one of the major rights and responsibilities is the usage of tobacco and its byproducts. The usage of tobacco dates back in history since before the population of the Americas and Europe. Once developed, tobacco became widespread across the world and has had both positive and negative effects on society as a whole. Throughout history, tobacco has been used for medicines, cigars, cigarettes, and even toothpaste. Tobacco is derived from the leaves of the plant Nicotiana, part of the nightshade family. Despite limited information, archaeologists' studies have traced tobacco usage back to 6000 BCE. During this time, Central American indigenous peoples were using tobacco for religious ceremonies and medicinal properties. By the mid-1400s, the North American natives have been documented using pipes, cigars, and snuff by Christopher Columbus through his travels. In 1612, John Rolfe, a member of the Virginia Company and Jamestown founder, gained possession of Spanish tobacco seeds. To encourage growth, he planted these seeds in the bottomlands of the James River. The rich soil of the bottomlands allowed the seeds to produce a milder variation of the plant comparable to the dark and bitter English tobacco. This tobacco became desirable and popularity increased rapidly in Jamestown. As demand grew, more and more tobacco was harvested, leading to the uprising of numerous plantations and businesses. The tobacco industry kept Jamestown flourishing, and without it, the settlement may never have thrived. This cash crop kept the settlers and industrial workers alive and in business, kickstarting an entire country from just one town. While Jamestown jump-started America, the colonies continued to evolve as well as tobacco production through more than 170 years to the start of colonial America. Tobacco plantations and businesses became a main source of support for colonists and the economy. One figure who owned such a plantation was former military leader and U.S. President George Washington. Washington kept business in England as well as striving to make profit off his plantation. He kept solid relationships with his merchants in order to pursue business, but still often profited off his trading and selling with said merchants. Washington relied on his tobacco production to withhold his plantation, estate, and social rank. Tobacco became the product that aided and withheld Washington's life at Mount Vernon. Overall, tobacco has been used for over thousands of years, and before its serious effects were discovered, it was a staple of life. As time goes by and society improves, so does technology and engineering. This rings true for past time periods as well. 1760 AD was the start of a new era, leading to drastic improvements in culture and manufacturing. Supply and demand grew daily, companies were born, and entrepreneurs rose to power. One man in particular took advantage of this industrial revolution, rocketing through the ranks with success and gaining popularity every moment. This man, James Buchanan Duke, joined multiple companies and manufactured into Duke's American Tobacco Company and was listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 1890. That same year, American Tobacco Company produced over 90% of the cigarettes distributed in the United States. Through 2 decades of production, Duke was able to increase the company's equity capitalization from $25 million to more than $316 million. During this time, the company absorbed around 215 more separate companies, boosting production rates and product variety. These new products included, but were not limited to, cigarettes, smoking tobacco, plug tobacco, and snuff. Over 80% of all tobacco products and variants were produced or had ingredients and parts produced by or through the American Tobacco Company, making it readily available and easily accessible for all American citizens by the early 20th century. Cigarettes slowly became less popular, and snuff and chewing tobacco began to pique the interest of the public. Women were also involved in tobacco consumption, helping incorporate products to their home and their daily lives. Because of the easy accessibility and the belief that usage led to health benefits, people of all ages were encouraged to participate. Occasional usage led to habitual use, which led to tolerance and experimentation of other substances. By 1930, over 40% of the male population smoked cigarettes and cigars, and over 80% of both male and females were recorded regularly smoking and consuming tobacco products. In 1963, the per capita number of cigarettes smoked in a year by the average person was 4,345, comparable to the year 1900, results of an average 54 cigarettes smoked per year. This huge increase in average led to over 430,000 tobacco-related deaths every year, and this number continues to rise every day. These deaths stem from lung cancer disease and lung corrosion. With thousands of people dying and falling ill from tobacco use, the U.S. government started to spread awareness and strive to protect their people. Despite the boost tobacco has given to the economy, the negative effects on the body and people's lives became too much. The main tobacco manufacturers did in fact have a right to produce, but also became responsible for ruining the lives of many. The U.S. government acted on their right to pass acts and laws, helping to shelter and safeguard citizens from the harmful products and advertising. In 1965, a federal Cigarette Labeling and Advertising Act was approved. This act required companies that produce cigarettes to put warning labels on the packaging and advertisements promoting their products. As well as warnings, the act prohibits the advertising of cigarettes and cigars on radio, television, or any other media regulated by the Federal Communications Commission. This is an example of the government having a hold on the rights and responsibilities of the people because they are committed to their duty to try and aid the people when it comes to the health scares of tobacco, but are also giving them the right to use it on their own terms. Government cannot take away the people's right to buy and consume these products, but they can teach the people the possible effects and the influence that they have on their health. With the passing of time, tobacco use has been under experimentation and scrutiny. With the harmful effects and the high addiction rates, many have turned to a tool supposedly created to help break these addictions and bad habits. The tool in question was named an e-cigarette and is more commonly known as a vape. First invented by the Chinese pharmacist and habitual smoker, Han Lik, the vape has been on the rise of popularity since 2013. It has since been proved to not only prevent or break tobacco use habits, but more harmful as well. E-cigarettes are continuously in the public eye, not just because it is rumored healthier, but also the appealing flavors and representation. This endorsement and familiarity to the mass of vaping draws individuals of all ages as well as minors and underage teens. Parents purchase these devices and leave them easily accessible to their children or purposely for them. Adults will sell to children secretly and pass around contraband as well. It has become a widespread problem in middle and high schools throughout the US, Europe, and the rest of the world as well. Vapes not only contain vast amounts of nicotine, but also formaldehyde, benzene, diacetyl, and heavy metals such as nickel and lead. Of these main ingredients, 3 of which are very capable in causing lung cancer, and the others are harmful to the body in their own ways. Battery chemicals are also released into the vapors and can make their way into the user's bloodstream via inhalation. Addiction to these so-called tools increases every day, ruining lives and affecting the population. We need to take responsibility for our fellow man's actions and spread awareness of the harmfulness of tobacco use. It is a right as a citizen of the United States to protect our neighbors, friends, and families as well as ourselves. Not everyone will agree, some might become angered, but it is their right as well to have their own opinion. As time goes on, there is one question left that's not fully answered. What can be done to better the future and protect future generations from these harmful yet popular products? Now, judges, you will see a visual representation of how severely tobacco has affected one's life. Thank you.
I'm Mary, and I used to be a smoker. I want to give you some tips about getting ready in the morning. Lord, you're there.